Hello, everybody, and welcome to True Crime Banter, the podcast aimed at bringing you your dose of murder relaxation. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. You're gonna carry the team, huh?
Yeah, not on purpose. It's just what I do.
True.
I don't even have to try.
On the reg. Hello, everybody. Welcome to True Crime
Come on down.
Banter. If you guys are watching the YouTube version of this episode, you can see that we are in another new place.
Yep.
And you kind of mentioned this before we started recording, that maybe we're going to just start doing this. We're just recording different
Especially because it's
places.
not hard to take like the equipment with. So
No.
if we're out and about somewhere, if we're like doing like a day trip somewhere, maybe we're at a hotel, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll try to keep it clean in the background, doing our best, but
you know,
whatever.
I think it looks all right. I think this video is
Yeah.
going to look even better than the last video because you know what? It was just a lot easier to set up this time. Welcome, everybody. This is episode 8.
99% sure. Yep.
99, or it could be 7 or 9. I don't really know. And we are well on our way. Speaking of numbers, we're on our way to like 600 followers on Instagram.
I know,
which is
which
cool.
it's like kind of like a small victory, just because like not too long ago it was like 70 or something.
It was, before you joined the chat.
Yeah.
It was, like 68.
Yeah, something like
72,
that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
If you guys hear squeaking like this in the background, it's because I am adjusting myself, and I am a large man on a very small chair.
Yeah.
And by
This
large
is
man,
episode 8, by the way.
it is. Okay, thank
Just
you.
confirmed. You're welcome.
Thank you. I just thought you were ignoring me on your phone.
Nope.
Typical. Cray-free.
Shut up.
Welcome to True Crime Banter, you guys. I hope you enjoy this. You're going to take... Right? Take
the banter?
Take lead of the bit of banter today.
Yeah. So, like I said earlier, I was just not prepared for this, which I had so much time to do it. Like, I would love, in a perfect world, to think of some really thought-provoking question.
Which you kind of did earlier, but you were like, you know, that's too thought-provoking, so let's not bring it up. Which the question was, by the way.
What was the question?
It was, who closes the school bus door after the bus driver gets off? Something like that.
Yeah.
Very thought-provoking.
But you know what? I thought I would save that for a more complex day. Right
True.
now, I'm just feeling a little bit simple. So I was like, you know what? Last night, I was out to dinner with my dad, and we were talking about the podcast, and he was asking where we got the name from, the whole banter part of it. And I was like, oh, it's this really
great
TV
show
that I'm super proud that I watch. I don't know if anybody else listens to it, but it's called Love Island.
Mm-hmm.
And they have
multiple,
shows in different locations. So they have a UK one, an Australia one, and then a US version too.
Different versions.
Yeah.
Multiple seasons of different versions.
Right.
And we are actually fond
of the Australian one.
Yes.
Right. And if you guys haven't seen it, it's like a very like simple premise. It's like 5 chicks come into like a little, what do they call it? Villa, right?
Yeah.
And it's always like some beautiful location, like Puerto Rico or something. It's always beautiful. Crazy like pools and all the nice stuff. And anyway, so I was thinking of this earlier. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's like Taylor Lautner in Twilight.
Okay.
Where he was like under contract to not wear a shirt for like the whole show or
Oh,
something. Like
right,
I think
right.
they
Okay,
all
I see
have to
what-
be like in their bathing suits like the whole time.
Now that you think of it, I've never thought of it, but they are always
they're like
shirtless.
And I don't know about you guys, but especially the females, guys too, no judgment, but like I could not spend all day in a bathing suit in high heels, but they do it every episode
be brutal.
at 7 a.m. to midnight. They are in these heels walking around in their freaking string bikinis, and I mean, more power to you. It just does not look very comfy.
No, yeah. And
but anyway,
I mean,
so the whole idea, right, is that these chicks come into the villa. There's 5 or 6 of them. They come in, and a guy, 5 or 6 dudes are brought in one by one, and they're like, hey, do you think this guy's cute? And if you do, you step forward. Then the guy gets to choose who he wants to be coupled up with. That's just the beginning part of it.
More often than not, the girls typically just don't step up. They're like, fuck this dude.
They're like,
Fuck
yeah,
this guy.
he's not cute or whatever. And anyway, so they initially couple up with somebody based off just like physical attraction. Like, that guy's cute, I want to be coupled up with him. And then as time goes on, the weeks go on, they get to know other people. There's always some kind of drama. There's like backstabbing or
not a lot of alcohol involved though, which is the one thing we
not in the Australia one, I don't think.
True. Yeah. Like I said, we fancy the Australian version, and not a lot of alcohol. So it's very different than your typical Real World or like, I don't even know what The Bachelor and stuff.
Yeah.
Has
Where
alcohol
there's
in it,
like
but
you could tell that somebody was a little tipsy and said something they shouldn't have said or whatever.
drama.
Yeah, which I personally love way more. But that's kind of where the whole banter thing came from, because something that Riley and I couldn't help but notice was the word banter being like every other word was banter.
In Australia, they're just like, that's, she's got good chat, I guess.
Yeah, chat's another one. Yeah,
true,
chat. Good chat.
Good banter, like good back and forth.
A bit of banter. Yeah,
and
they say it all the time. We had a bit of banter.
Yeah.
It's got great banter.
Can we go for a
all
chat?
the time. Yeah, all the time. So then we just started using it all the time.
Just randomly.
It just became a part of our everyday world.
Not inappropriately, incorrectly.
Yeah.
Or
right.
inappropriately. I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't know things I say. It happens.
So that's kind of where it came from. We were just using it, and then this podcast happened. And if you think about it, it fits. We are having banter about true crime,
and
so
we're
it makes
up,
sense.
And so
we are technically coupled up.
Technically
coupled up.
I've said
we'll
this
see.
before. I
Next
put a ring
week's
on it,
recoupling, we'll
who
see if I
knows?
choose you.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that quick synopsis of what Love Island Australia is. And also
welcome.
where we get
Yeah.
the banter and true crime banter.
You're welcome.
Now that the bit of banter is over, why don't we get into the true crime part of our name?
I think that's what they're here for.
I think so. Today, we will be covering the disappearance of Katrina Smith. And you know what? I think I want to put some background music on.
Okay.
Is that gonna? You guys okay with that? Are we good?
Too bad. Here we go.
Fuck it. YOLO.
Yep.
So, today, like I said, we're going to be covering the disappearance of Katrina Smith. This, I guess, case takes place back in October of 2012. So we're just kind of coming up on the 10-year anniversary of her disappearance.
Okay.
Katrina, she was 30 years old, and she lived with her husband of 7 years, Todds Smith. Now, when I brought this name up to you earlier, I said this is one of the most dynamic names I've ever heard because, sarcastically, this is the widest name that might be out there. Todds Smith, Sean.
Yeah.
Toad. I don't know. I don't know. Todds Smith is like you picked a name out of a baby book for the first
pretty
and
much.
the last name.
Yeah. There's a bunch of basic names out there.
Yeah. So Todd and Katrina, they lived in Machesney Park, Illinois. Illinois. One of the two. Todd, he was a fair bit older than Katrina. So he was 44 years old and actually already had 3 children from a previous relationship.
Yeah.
Which, doing the math of the ages, so Katrina would have been 23 at the time of them getting married.
Right.
And he would have been 37, which is a more significant age gap than maybe 30 to 44 sounds.
Yeah.
And then also, you kind of brought this up earlier, bringing on 3 kids at 23 years old.
Yeah.
Like, I could not.
Takes a special person. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we discuss all the time, like, if we were our parents, like if we were my parents, we would have like a teenager right now.
Yeah.
And I could not
thanks.
imagine that. But from all the reports and the research that I was able to find, Katrina, even being 23 and a stepmom to the 3 kids, she was an excellent stepmom, basically from everyone that knew her. I tried to find the ages of the 3 kids, but I couldn't, and I'm sure probably because they were underage.
Yeah.
They just didn't care to list it anywhere, but they were, based on the photos of when Katrina disappeared, you're talking in like their teenage years, maybe 12 to 16 years old. So that kind of gives you an idea of she was, maybe 15 years older than them at the time of taking over as stepmom.
Okay.
So this story begins on the night of Sunday, October 22nd. Todd and Katrina, they had just recently returned from a trip to Washington, D.C., celebrating their 7th anniversary. And when I say recently, it was within the last month. Katrina, she worked in HR, and she was actually preparing for an interview the next morning for a possible new job opportunity. So things were looking up
Do
for
we
them.
know, like, was she staying in the same field?
Yes.
Okay, so just like a different company?
Yeah, and there's actually text messages when we get later on into it that show that this was a well sought after position that she was going for.
Oh, cool.
Over like 100 plus applicants got slowly divvied down into like a top 2
Cool.
number of people, and
Good
she
for you,
was
girl.
one of the last 2. So yeah, good for her. The police, they were able to verify. Oh, well, I guess I should take a step back as I pull something out of my eyeball. She, like I said, she was preparing for an interview the next morning for a new job opportunity, and police, they were able to verify that there were emails back and forth on the night of October 22nd between Katrina and her possible new employer that, okay, the interview's still up, ready to take place.
Yeah.
And just verifying that the time and place was correct. So Katrina, she was actually house sitting one of her friends' condo at the time, which I thought was funny because we are recording this episode as we're also house sitting in this exact moment. But Katrina, she was basically trying to get laundry done. I think still trying to catch up from their vacation to Washington, D.C. And I know how that feels. You come back and you got all this laundry.
Well,
and you're like, I'll
and
slowly
3
get it
freaking kids, and my gosh, then your own
Screw
stuff.
it. And she...
Screw it.
Screw it. So she was back at home getting some laundry done before she was getting ready to head over to the condo for the night and watch over the condo. Unfortunately, though, that was the last time that her husband, Todd, or anybody at all had heard from her.
Okay.
So the next day, I should say the next morning, Todd shoots Katrina a text message saying, "Good luck at your interview. You're going to be awesome." And this is what I was referring to earlier. He said from 100 to 6 to top 2 to the new HR person, just like I predicted. Mm-hmm. So it kind of reminds me of, I send you texts all the time. That's like, you got this, or you're killing it.
No, I know.
It's
As
like
soon as you said that, I was like, oh, you would say something like
just
that.
very,
Thank you.
very supportive.
Get you a writing.
Or a Todd, I guess.
yeah, whatever.
So here's the thing. Katrina, she didn't reply.
Okay.
So she also never showed up to the interview. And she never showed up to work after the interview.
Okay, so terrible things. So you don't get a text like, okay, maybe she's busy prepping or whatever, or running behind. But then she doesn't show up to the interview that she's been dying for. And
then that apparently over 100 people have applied for,
Yeah.
and then now she's top 2.
Right.
And all of a sudden, nothing.
Yeah, no.
And that was actually, honestly, the last time that... I shouldn't say the last time because I already said the last time.
Yeah.
But, so he ended up trying to call her.
Yeah.
And it was like, this is something a little off.
So was he... Sorry, maybe you don't know, or maybe... I don't know. But, like, when he was trying to call her, was this... after she was having the interview? Was this after somebody told him she didn't show up, or did he just try calling her not thinking anything was wrong? Or
it was after a little bit,
when she should have already had the interview and stuff.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, you would think. I mean, I think if I'm texting you and I'm saying, "Hey, good luck," you're gonna go kill it.
Yeah.
And then like an hour passes, and it's like, okay, like you said, maybe she was prepping or just trying to prepare for it.
Yeah,
and
she's
so
stressed out. She's not gonna be looking at her phone the whole time.
Yeah,
she's doing
and
stuff.
all the time you're like, oh, I've kind of just put my phone down.
I know, I lose it, but it's
but yeah, after a little bit, he's like, okay, she hasn't replied.
Yeah.
So that's when he kind of starts calling, and still no answer. So then he actually reaches out to her sister,
Okay.
Katrina's sister, And I've got a clip actually from 2019 of her sister talking to.
Ooh, I love a good clip.
Yeah,
Okay.
talking to Crime Watch Daily, which is a YouTube channel. You and I, or actually, it's True Crime Daily now.
True Crime Daily.
It used to be Crime Watch Daily back in the day. But
no, I love that one.
yeah,
That
so
one's
here's her talking to Crime Watch Daily about this incident.
Okay.
I got a phone call on October 23rd, maybe around like 7 p.m. From Todd saying that, he asked me if I had talked to my sister, and I said no. He said she didn't show up for work and he hadn't talked to her since the previous night.
So, yeah, basically he's calling and he's asking her.
He's calling her at 7 p.m.?
Right, so that's the first thing I picked
Yeah.
up too, was 7 p.m. That's like an entire day of not
Right.
getting an answer from your...
When he says he hasn't talked to her since the night before, he means like heard her voice, like
Right.
on the phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure when
Well,
she
actually,
got to...
right, because if she's not responding to text the next day, the day of the interview, then he really hasn't talked to her at all since the day before.
Physically.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and obviously if, again...
She didn't text or call the day of either, so he hasn't texted her or called her since the day before. 'Cause she didn't respond to anything the day of, right?
Yeah, the next morning.
Yeah.
Yep. So at this point, nobody's heard from Katrina. Some people called her Kat. No one can get a hold of her, and there's really no information as to where she might even be. So I put down here, practically after a full day of nothing from Katrina, Todd actually went to the police station to kind of notify them what's going on.
Did he know where the friend's house was that she was house sitting at? He didn't know where it was? Like, I would have driven there, I feel like.
You know what?
No.
That's a good question, but I think...
I would have probably
I
gone
wanna
there
say
first, then
he
the police
did,
station, but yeah.
Because like you said, it would be easy, but the fact that she obviously wouldn't be there, and it wasn't at the interview or at work.
Well, how do we know she wouldn't be there? Like, what if she slipped
this is
and
me,
hit her head?
No, this is me assuming that.
Oh.
You're right, though.
That's what I'm
no,
thinking.
That's a good
my
point.
mind, I feel like would go
That's
to
a
like
good point.
she's hurt or something.
Yeah.
Well,
whatever it was, I actually, and this is why I love having you on the podcast, because these are questions that don't pop into my head.
Yeah.
That's a great question if he went to the condo first and then to the police. I guess I don't want to assume that he did.
Yeah.
But you might be right. It might be a long jump to go straight to the police without checking to make sure she's at the condo.
Right.
Which would be pretty easy. I mean, if he knows what her car
Yeah.
looks like, it's, okay.
Yeah.
And if she is in the apartment, knocked out or passed out,
Yeah.
at least he knows that she's there because he's looking at her vehicle.
Yeah.
So, the police, they kind of, I feel like differently than you might think. They actually take it pretty seriously right off the bat.
Yeah.
So they start searching the area while and actually, you know what? I'm going to take a sip of this because my throat is like...
Do you know by chance where they started the search at? Was it at the house of the friend or just looking around anywhere?
Yes, yeah. So near the condo area.
Okay, so someone had to have led them to there. So maybe it
Right,
was the husband,
so-
so maybe he did know where it was.
Exactly. So maybe we're answering our own question there.
Yeah.
Because, they started searching the area, and family members, they actually organize, like, search parties, volunteer parties, I suppose, to start searching other areas where they think she might
This
be.
stuff's so sketchy. I always just feel like anytime I hear it, like, even if I know how it ends, like if the show or YouTube channel, whatever it is titled like Murdered Woman or whatever, or Murdered Guy or something, and it's like, yeah, they had a search party out and they weren't texting or calling or anything. I'm like, this is so bad. Like, when does it ever turn out that they were just like taking a nap under their car or something and no one found them?
It seems like once it gets to the search party portion of it, then things
and maybe it's different because obviously, thank you God, we haven't had to deal with this. But if it was me in that situation, I might have a whole like, I don't want to think about it. So I might just really hope that they fainted somewhere and they're like, I don't know, trying to grasp at straws, I guess. But in me, after especially anybody probably listening to this, you've seen stuff, you've heard stuff, you've listened to things. You know how this goes. You know how this ends. It's not good.
Exactly.
Ever.
No.
Yeah.
It's, and granted, we're predisposed to only listening to the thing that unfortunate things happen to people.
True.
So, like you said, it might say murdered from...
Right. Kind of like people that get kidnapped every now and then, they escape or they let them go, but it's the 1%.
Yeah, how often is it
Right.
do you watch a true crime story where
They end up fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Anyway.
but yeah, so they organized search parties, really hoping just to find anything that could give you any information where the hell she's at.
Yeah.
And not just a few miles from the home, so Todd and Katrina Smith's home, do the sheriff's department find her car.
Oh.
Like, just I think they said not even 2 miles away.
From their home, not from the friend's
condo.
home.
Yeah, no, from their own.
I wonder if she was like coming back home for some reason. Anyway, go
Right,
ahead. Yeah.
So they find her car abandoned and seemingly wiped clean. So the police, they kind of say, okay, let's get this back to the shop for forensic analysis and figure out what's going on. And basically they said, you guys look at the car. We're going to start searching this area now because at least we can narrow it down. This is probably the last place she was at before someone took her or she ran off, whatever it is. So 2 days after finding that vehicle, investigators, they find her cell phone, wallet, and bloody paper towels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you happen to look up pictures of this or anything? Like, was it just scattered or was it in a pile? Like, I know it sounds silly, but does it look like somebody just placed it there? Or it was almost like somebody was like trying to get rid of a bunch of shit and like kind of spread it out and was in a car and just dropped stuff off every couple 100 feet?
So there's not any, and I'll be honest, I just did a quick Google search as you're asking that question.
Fine. That's how you figure it out.
No, there was not any actual, I guess, evidence or
And
photos
it didn't
of
say if it found it like hidden.
They just describe it as bloody paper towels. But granted,
weird.
I know, and like you wouldn't think this is what
You would just leave it with the other stuff, like just why even bother cleaning it up if you're not
I know,
gonna
why
like
even
hide it or
worry
something?
about it?
What?
And so I'm thinking of bloody paper towels.
A dude must have
That's-
done this. This is such a guy logic. Like, I'm gonna only do
Literally,
half of it. Like, I'm gonna just do this is so stupid. Okay. Anyway.
I'm thinking if there's bloody paper towels, if you're gonna describe it as bloody paper towels, it's probably not like nosebleed bloody. It's probably
Also, just so you know,
significantly.
people, I actually don't know this one. Like, I've seen her picture, but I can't remember what happened. So I really am like hearing this for the first time. Like, maybe some of you are. So.
Ooh.
So this isn't me faking it like, oh, a guy must have done it, or maybe not. Like, I really don't know. But it sounds like a dude. So that's all I'm saying.
Because he can't fucking clean up after
stupid,
himself.
pretty much.
Well, based on the bloody paper towels, her abandoned car, her wallet, her cell phone, all being left behind, they kind of assume that something has now happened to her.
Yeah.
Whether it's kidnapping or what's going on.
And have they heard back from the forensic people about the car yet? At this point?
Wait, say that again?
The people that are looking at her car, have they
Right.
heard back yet about that?
So
Or is that
a lot
later?
of this is a case that I'm going over it slowly because
Okay.
a lot of it all happens simultaneously.
Oh, okay.
And so I think in
Because
honestly,
when you mentioned about the car being wiped clean, I don't know if you meant they checked for prints and there was nothing, or it looked like somebody had just cleaned it.
Yeah, no, it looked like it was
Okay, so we don't know if
cleaner
there's
than-
actually
yeah.
any like DNA or
right.
anything. Okay,
exactly.
okay.
Yep. So obviously people are thinking that something happened to her.
Yeah.
She didn't just end up, or I guess she didn't just up and leave her life. Yeah.
Paper towels and just dip out.
Yep. So Todd and Katrina, their family is basically asking for answers as to what the hell happened.
Yeah.
to her. So actually, I have a clip of Todd.
Another clip. I love it.
Oh, Mr. Todd. Oh, I guess I shouldn't play it yet. So this is her husband, basically talking to
Squirrel Man.
Mr. Squirrel Man. I don't know if we mentioned it. He looks like a squirrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a white dude with a white name, looking like a squirrel. Okay, maybe I should be kinder to him because of the situation, actually.
Yeah.
So this is him talking to the media about his wife, obviously, and this is just like a day or two after them finding her vehicle and basically knowing that something's going on with her.
Okay.
Oh.
It's been horrible.
I just wanted to come home.
Is that it?
That's it.
Oh, I thought there was gonna be more.
I actually,
Okay. We
I
just
did a
wanted
lot
to hear
of
the emotion.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So there, I was trying to find a lot more of this interview that he did. So
Okay.
here's the thing. He like every day he was talking to the media about basically what he said there, crying, asking her to come home, or asking for answers about, and he wasn't the only one. Her family and her sisters, same thing. They were all basically gathered around, asking just for answers.
Yeah.
Which I feel like most people, when they hear about a husband with a wife missing, talking to the media, I immediately went to like Chris Watts.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, buddy.
Yeah.
You're not.
He's just
you're
the
not
one
so
that
upset
comes
about
off
this.
the top of my mind. There are others.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's what was the guy that, oh my God, that killed his wife.
Peterson?
Yes.
Scott and Lacey Peterson?
No. I'm sorry. Fuck, I usually have the names ready
No,
to go.
it's okay.
But
No.
that was another one where he was talking to people all the time. Granted, this guy sounds like real. This
Yeah.
guy does.
No,
The
yeah.
Todds
That was
Smith
kind of
guy.
the
The other
notice.
one was like weird, emotionless, didn't look at the camera. I was like,
Yeah, and the thing about when we talk about people that are always asking for answers or almost out in front of the public eye too much in
Yeah.
cases like this, I think of like Kyron Horman too,
Yeah.
with his stepmom, and some people just want answers, and it makes me think of that movie. I want to say it's Untraceable. I think we
Okay.
watched it once together.
was Shia LaBeouf? Is he in that? Who's in
No,
that?
that is. I
Halle
think you're thinking
Berry?
Disturbia. I think you're thinking Disturbia.
in
No,
that?
Untraceable. I don't think they have. Maybe
It's-
Diane Keaton.
That's who it is. It's like a woman.
Yeah,
But it's like,
and,
who's the dude? It's a woman and a dude.
Colin Hanks, I want to say.
Is it?
I think
Oh,
so.
shit, okay.
But in that show or that movie, they are looking for like I think a missing daughter or a missing son, and there's a point where they have the father talking to the media, and they're saying, "Hey, make sure you say his name as much as you can, or her name. It might be a daughter. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
In case the person that kidnaps your
Right. Your kid.
child.
Yeah.
If they see this, maybe you can put into their mind that, oh, this is an actual person,
Yeah.
not just a body that
Yeah.
you're trying to.
That's something they
take.
do say a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I kind of always assume. Like even though there are the Chris Watts out there, usually it's like the more exposure you can get out there
Yeah.
for somebody that's missing. Like,
And also, as
just
a
the
viewer,
better.
keeping in mind too that not everybody looks the same when they're sad. Some people don't
Yeah.
cry because they're trying to hold it together. Some people have other kids that they have to keep it together for.
Yep.
And some people just aren't emotional.
Which I mean, in
Yeah.
this situation, he's got three
Yeah.
daughters.
Yeah, it just looks different on everyone.
Yeah. So, back to the story. Investigators, they're trying to find anything that could possibly point to where or what happened to Katrina. So, is there anybody that might have a gripe with her or an issue? And one suspect was a younger boy, I guess you could say. They describe him as a juvenile from their church. And a year prior to her disappearance, this juvenile was actually arrested and charged for, what do they call it? Stalking or peeping, like a peeping Tom,
Yeah.
into Katrina's neighbor's house.
Okay.
So they're like, okay, let's look into this kid first because he's had tendencies in the past in this neighborhood, basically, a house away. What's going on? And they all went to the same church, so they looked into him, and they couldn't really find anything.
Right. I guess they would be assuming that this kid was peeping in on her, maybe had some infatuation with her, then followed her to a friend's house she was house sitting at, or waited for her outside that house.
I guess so.
But I guess you can't really like not look at stuff. Like
Right, yeah,
whatever
anything
comes
that
to
comes up.
mind. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they looked into him, and unfortunately, they couldn't find anything that would really link him to her
Yeah.
disappearance. So they had to start looking elsewhere. But in the middle of them looking into this juvenile from church, they find something that I guess you could say was groundbreaking for the case.
Okay.
And that's that Katrina was having an affair with another guy.
A pastor?
No.
Oh, because I was thinking at the church. Sometimes
No.
these pastors be having affairs like
I'll tell you
crazy.
what,
I know.
What the juvenile
I'm
boys
like-
do.
Anyway,
Listen, so I actually capitalized the word guy because
his name was Guy.
his name was Guy. Guy Gabriel.
Okay.
Does that name sound familiar to you? Because when I started researching this, I was like, that name just rolls off the tongue perfectly.
Guy Gabriel.
Guy Gabriel. Like,
No, it doesn't.
I agree,
mean,
though. I
no,
actually
no.
don't remember this case until I started researching it again, and I was like, wow, Guy Gabriel. Like, that sounds
don't remember
familiar,
that.
but also new to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they, I put down here, good golly, it's the jolly Guy Gabriel.
Okay. Is there a reason
Just-
you said that?
Alliteration.
Okay.
I like
awesome.
words that start
Just
with
wondering if that was for a reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Guy Gabriel, he is actually one of Katrina's coworkers. And he, of course,
And they go to the same church.
and no, they don't go to the same church. They just work together.
Oh, I'm confused. I thought you said they were looking into the church and they
No,
found
while
this
they
guy.
were looking into the church boy, they were separate people were looking into who else might be involved.
Oh, okay. So they're just looking at
Oh,
everyone.
he's not a pastor. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I figured Gabriel. I don't know, right? Anyway,
Oh, okay.
from
Yeah.
the Bible, I don't
Okay,
really know.
cool.
Anyway,
Well, maybe they went to the same church. I
Okay.
don't know. That wasn't a point of interest for them.
okay.
But he, of course, was also a married man.
Okay.
So he's also having an affair
Uh-huh.
with a married woman. So the investigators, they look into Guy Gabriel. They run a background check on him, and what do they find? They find out that,
He's missing
good
paper
golly,
towels.
the jolly Guy Gabriel
What?
was previously arrested for domestic battery. And the reports, the police reports for that arrest show that it wasn't like a minor domestic
It
disturbance.
wasn't.
No.
It was a
no,
big
this
deal.
was there's actually footage of the nurse involved and the reporting officer, I guess you should say, where his significant other was badly injured.
Yeah.
Big knot on her head, and she described it as that she had her head slammed into the ground and then he was choking her.
Okay. So yeah, obviously
So not a great
like-
guy.
I feel like when I hear about like, they're like, yeah, this guy had a record. It was domestic violence or whatever. I'm like, then you find out like it was a wife who found out her husband was cheating on her and she like lied or something. Like there's so many times where
Right, like a revenge.
or they were in public screaming at each other and,
they just get
then
the
that's
cops
what it's
called in.
called.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't really know.
Yeah, that's why I
intel,
wanted
but this
to,
sounds
to
really
clarify
bad.
that
Yeah.
it was actually something dangerous
Yeah,
or
right.
physically abusive.
Yeah.
So they've got Guy Gabriel
'Kay.
in their scope, I guess, per se. And here's where the discovery of Katrina's cell phone really comes into play. Because on the night of her disappearance, there are texts between her and Guy. There was a lot of texts, actually. And they read things like, have you told him you want a divorce?
Okay.
And stuff like, there's nothing left in you for him. Nothing. And so he is basically almost like coaxing her into telling her husband, hey, I'm having an affair.
Oh, and he's just texting her like, have a good interview. This is so sad. Oh.
But maybe the most aggressive text of all between Guy and Katrina.
Yeah.
It says, you're crazy to keep it bottled in. He wants to share with people, then share the truth. He wants it. Wait. He says he wants it his way. Well, newsflash, he has no say.
Okay.
So, and then, like, his way and he has no say and stuff, those were, like, all caps.
No way, Jose. Okay.
Exactly.
Interesting. Yeah, it's different when we don't really have like context. Like
Right.
you can
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of assume, but
Yeah, you can. It's like sarcasm. You can't really read it over a
Right.
text message. So, the detectives, they're really wondering,
what the heck's going on? Yeah.
exactly. They're kind of actually wondering who knows about this affair between Guy and Kat, and really what else might they know if they know about this affair. So they start interviewing coworkers because remember they work together, which to me isn't a great look when you're the HR rep
No.
and you're having an affair.
That is like the ultimate not okay.
Probably not
and this is obviously at the job she's leaving.
right. Yep.
Interesting. I wonder if she's almost trying to get away from him. That's why she got a new job. Or interesting. Anyway, go ahead.
You might be onto something.
Yeah.
You are quite.
I've seen enough of these. Anyway.
So they do start interviewing, like I said, their coworkers. And boy, oh boy, is there more to this story than it first seems.
There always is.
So when coworkers are being questioned about Katrina, they reveal that she felt like she was being followed.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
by him, just in
they
general.
don't really know. At least from what it sounds like, they don't really know. She just said she felt like she was being followed, like someone was tracking her, and that she even went far enough to get a gun for her own personal protection. There's text between her and her dad or stepdad, basically asking, "Hey, do I need my?" It's like a concealed license to go to like a gun shooting range.
Yeah.
And yeah, she was pretty serious or pretty worried about.
Gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. So her wanting to have this gun makes even more sense now, because detectives found out after talking to coworkers that just 2 weeks prior to her disappearance, there was an incident that happened at work where someone in a disguise went through their work parking lot and distributed a bunch of flyers about Katrina and Guy. Interesting, right? About their affair.
Did anybody say what the disguise looked like?
No. So there's security footage of it, but it's disguised enough like a I guess glasses and like a hoodie.
Okay.
So it's just a person walking through the parking lot, basically throwing out flyers onto people's cars that all know who Guy is and all know who Katrina is.
And they're like outing the affair
exactly
in these flyers.
Yeah. So there is on these flyers, let me pull it up here.
That's
there
sweet
are
of them.
I know, right? There's phrases like Guy turned on the charm and her legs just fell open. Yeah.
Okay. This is like an aspiring writer or something. Like, why are we trying to be like clever about this?
Well, I don't know.
How about you just say these two
ended.
people are sleeping together?
I looked at the flyer itself, and most of the flyers I found were all like blurred, or because I think the title of it was like Guy fucks cat or something like that, like in all caps,
That's
big
a
font.
different podcast.
Yeah, Guy fucks cat. That's weird.
That's different. We're here for the true crime, okay?
But the end of the flyer says, "Well, I say." You doing all right there?
It's just, I didn't expect you to say that. I don't know what.
Anyways, yeah. So the end of the flyer, the last line of it is, "Well, I say, what about us? We want special treatment too." Which, again, like I said, she's the HR representative for this.
Making it sound like somebody from work
That's
is
what
doing
it.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Us, work people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now the question is, hey, Guy, actual Guy Gabriel, where were you the night that Katrina went missing? So obviously they're wondering right off the bat, what do you know about this? You know, there's text messages between you and her, you telling her to tell her husband you want a divorce.
Yeah.
Well, sadly, for family and friends of Katrina, Guy said he was working, and sure enough, his alibi checks out.
Yeah.
Yep. So here we are, at least the investigators are back at square one, with no suspect and no idea where Katrina is or where she might be.
And did you already say this about the husband? Does he have an alibi?
I don't. No, I have. We're going to find out more about what he did. Yeah.
Okay.
So as we get more into this. So investigators, they actually pull up the name of another gentleman in Katrina's life. So again, like I said earlier, you were asking about, I can't remember what you were asking about, but this is all like happening all at the same time.
Okay.
So, Illinois isn't like in the middle of a nowhere place. You know, you got Chicago, you got big cities, so they have the resources to be looking into something while other people are already investigating something else.
Okay.
So, while they've got some people looking into Guy, they've got other people looking into who else might be involved in Katrina's life. And, so like I said, they pull up the name of another gentleman. And I say gentleman because I don't want to say Guy, because I don't want to confuse Guy with another guy.
Okay. You could say dude, too, whatever.
Another bro.
Another guy.
So this gentleman's name is Todd Rappringer.
Okay.
Another Todd.
Got a thing for the Todds.
I like the Rappringer. We got
Rappringer.
some cool names in this one.
Yeah, Guy Gabriel, Rappringer.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, or the Rappringer himself.
Anyway.
So this Rappringer fella, he is an insurance and investment broker who was in deep trouble with the law. Rappringer and his business partners, they were being charged, I guess, for mail and wire fraud.
Okay.
With whatever investors
so
are
money
dealing
stuff.
with. Yeah, exactly. When asked, Rappringer's family and his friends, they say that he seemed like this successful broker that was, making great money, which I guess you would be making great money if you're doing fraudulent stuff. But once you get caught, you're not making...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're not making great money anymore.
Yeah. There's a whole... Sorry not to, kind of go off on this, but there's a whole podcast called Red Collar, I think. And it's all about... If you guys want to go look at it, whatever. It's not like your basic, stabbings and shit. It's it is all crimes based off of, businesses. People get caught stealing, and then they have to kill the people that find out, and, things like that. So people get caught... wire fraud or whatever it may be, or writing false checks, and then the people that find out, and then they find out or whatever. Anyway, that's a good one if you guys are kind of into that stuff.
Well, don't be doing that, and you don't get murdered. So like I said, his Rappringer's family, they all thought he was doing great. He actually had daughters, and he was the moneymaker, the breadwinner in his relationship. But it turns out that Mr. Rappringer himself was actually the one in financial need or help from Katrina. So Katrina, it gets a little confusing. She was actually supporting Rappringer and his entire family.
How did she meet this guy?
They don't actually...
How does she know him? Is it just some dude she's helping out?
So...
Are they sleeping together?
Right. So nobody but Katrina knew about this. At least nobody but Katrina.
And Todd Rappringer.
And her husband.
Oh, he knew too?
Todds Smith. So.
Okay, you were right. This does have some twists.
Yeah, exactly. Now,
I'm glad I didn't look this up before.
I paused here. I said, let me pause here because I want to know what you might be going on.
You would write pause in the notes to pause.
And pause. So what do you think is happening here?
Well now, so I'm trying to think. Guy Gabriel, he's not off my list yet. He's got some weird stuff going on. It almost sounds like his wife or something might have found out about the affair and wants to sabotage both of them at work. Yeah. Who else, And also it would take off the heat from her if she made it sound like somebody from work was doing it.
Right.
So the whole, we want the same treatment at, making it sound like it's a work thing. I don't know who at work, unless there is proof that she was getting special treatment or he was at work. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Otherwise, where's that claim coming from?
Well, the special treatment is what they were doing outside of work. Wink,
so
wink.
They're all saying, I want to get laid by him too?
I don't know, but
weird.
that is where when you're talking about if it's a wife, they don't think...
I feel bad for these detectives. They have so many angles to go on because people are sleeping with each other. And when that happens, there's
messy.
Multiple spouses. And there's people that are getting wrong. There's money involved. That's a whole other thing.
It'd be easier almost if they weren't both married, right?
Yeah, if one of them or whatever. Yeah,
or
exactly.
Just,
So the husband's not off my list either. I don't know about him. Once until I hear an alibi.
Well, yeah.
Okay, and then on top of that, now you're telling me the husband knew about this other Todd?
About
These two Todds?
So here's the thing.
Hey, you asked me what I thought was going on.
I know.
Okay.
And I'm gonna let you in on a little secret here. And by secret, I mean I'm just going to continue telling the story.
Are they related? Is there some kind of twist?
After being convicted of arson as a teenager, and not just arson, by arson I mean he burned his family's house to the ground while they were in it. But
they died?
No, they got out safely. But
attempted murder? Was he charged with that?
Much.
Okay.
Todd Rappringer, He served 30 months in prison.
That's it? For trying to murder your family?
Right, but it was just charged as arson.
How old was
though.
he?
17 years old.
Okay, so
I
minor.
mean, yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
And after getting out of prison, though, Rappringer, he went ahead and legally...
What is that, 2.5 years? That's so fucking stupid. Anyway,
Yeah.
Go ahead. Rappringer.
He got out of prison, legally changed his name to Todds Smith. So, I know I kind of fooled you on this one. So Todd Rappringer is the same person as Todd Smith, and that's why I said Todd Smith knew about Katrina supporting Mr. Rappringer and his family, because Todd Smith and Todd Rappringer are the same person.
Okay.
And so this entire time, Todd Smith's family, friends, everybody thinks that Todd is the breadwinner for him and Katrina and his 3 daughters. Meanwhile, it's actually flipped because he's in all this like a wire fraud trouble. Katrina's the one making all the money for the family. But they're not telling anybody about his financial troubles. They're letting life go on as, hey, you know, we're all doing great. Todd's supporting us all. And Katrina's just, you know, stepmom of the year.
And has a dope-ass job and is going to get another
that
dope
is where, yes, and that is where this new opportunity of her getting this new HR job was such a big deal because, hey, we kind of need that extra money.
So unless there's a big payout for life insurance, there's no reason why he would kill her because she is the moneymaker. It doesn't make sense.
Right. So the detectives, they're thinking Todd Smith has to be their guy then. If she is supporting him and they find out that he has this history of trying to kill his family pretty much, and all of a sudden he's in financial trouble, like you said, what you're wondering what his motive would be
for killing her, yeah, unless she had a shit ton of money in her life insurance.
Yeah.
That could solve all of his problems.
Well, they turn their attention to Todd Smith, and what they find is a load of evidence that does not bode well in Todd's favor.
Okay.
So in Katrina's abandoned car, they found a handwritten note from Todd to Katrina, basically begging her not to leave him, and trying to express, you know, just how much she means to him. And actually, I have one last clip here. This is
another clip.
Another short clip, but this is maybe it's like hindsight is 20/20 type of thing. But when they go back and they're sifting through this note that Todd wrote to her, they kind of think that the verbiage that he's using in the note doesn't really align with what he's actually trying to tell her.
Okay, a little suspicious.
Yeah.
Okay.
It had subtle hints. Love you to death, you know, can't live without you, I'll do anything. But reading between the lines, it was a subtle threat.
Like I said, a short clip.
Yeah.
Very short clip.
Yeah.
But from what it sounds like, and this is something that, you doing all right there?
Yeah, I'm just like thinking like, are people making something out of nothing?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Are you taking your
but
hindsight?
Also, is it a weird thing that like a killer would do where they would think it was funny in their own way to say something like that?
Well, no, but I think there are things that you subconsciously say or do, not trying to out yourself, but you say things without realizing that your brain is actually thinking of a different thing. So maybe he's thinking of, if you leave me, I'm going to kill you.
Right.
But he's trying to write her a note saying, I love you to death. And so like it's the cross-pollination.
Also at the same time, I just think there are phrases like that where you have love and death in the same sentence, but it can mean a positive thing.
Hey, till death do us part.
Or you can look at it bad. So, like, you know, I could tell you love you to death, but then you have somebody that actually killed somebody and they're saying it. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's
like,
right.
well,
Yeah. When you look hindsight,
yeah,
it's not the best,
not a
I
good
guess.
look. Yeah.
So not only did they find that note from Todd to Katrina, but on Todd's computer, the one that she was actually emailing from his computer to her prospective new employer the night before, just confirming again the interview date and time and everything.
Yeah.
They found some older deleted files that Todd thought was gone for good. So these files, I'm sure you might not be able to guess what they are, but the first one...
I was just, sorry, really quick. I was watching Forensic Files earlier.
Okay.
And there was a case where a husband had thought he had deleted stuff, but they were, for dumb people like me that like don't know like technology stuff, like I don't know.
Yeah.
When you think delete, I think you think gone. Like I actually threw it out.
Right.
But
Yeah.
they were talking in like layman's terms for people like me in the show. They were explaining it where it just gets sent to a different part of the computer where it gets saved to be like written over. So like that
Right,
space
yeah.
is available to take over by something else eventually. But unless you like actually wipe the computer clean, it's still there somehow.
Yep.
Which is why like when you send it to the cops to like look for stuff, they can still find stuff unless you've like really destroyed something all the way.
That is something, gosh, this was probably like 7 or 8 years ago. There's something politically that happened. I can't remember what it was, but copy machines and fax machines, they have a similar concept where it keeps the data that they copy or send until that space needs to be taken up again. And so that is why most copy machines that are in like political offices have to be destroyed or something to actually get, like they can't be taken to like a Goodwill or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
no,
when
we
I
got to
worked
get rid of
at
these.
a dental office, they had a special company that came to take all of our papers that we shredded. Like we can't just throw it out. Even if though it's shredded to pieces, you still can't put it in like a general like recycling bin. You just have to have
you
a
just
special
risk
company come out and take
the
it.
possibility of it being captured.
Okay.
So, yeah, well, exactly. So Todd, he thought they were all deleted, all the files, but they were able to do their, I guess, digital forensics or data forensics
And this is on his computer or hers?
on his computer. Yep.
His, okay.
And one of the files they found was like a template or pieces of the flyer that was passed out.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The flyer that was
come
distributed
on.
at their work that said "guy fucks cat." You know, that flyer.
I wonder like where you even come up with that idea.
Well, when you're a psycho. But here's the other thing. They also found another folder titled "Super Track Stick."
Okay.
I just wanted to see what you thought that was. So Super Track Stick.
the look you gave me.
I've never. I wouldn't know what to think of it. But
Okay.
basically, a Super Track Stick is a GPS device used to track things.
Okay.
So
That's why she thought she was
Katrina
being
was onto
followed?
something. Yeah.
Okay.
So using the information in that folder, the detectives were actually able to find out that Todd Smith had been tracking Katrina for like months.
I wonder why she thought she was being followed.
It might be one of those just like sixth sense things, you know, where you just feel like, and granted, when you have an incident where this flyer starts getting distributed, and it could be her subconscious knowing that she's doing something she shouldn't be doing.
That's true.
And
She
you
could
just-
be paranoid.
Exactly.
Yeah, because unless you found that little tracker stick, I don't know how you would know you're being followed. Unless like a person was
Right.
showing up everywhere you were, but that didn't sound like that was her issue.
Yeah, well, on that tracker stick, I guess, information that the investigators were able to pull off of it, the night, or I guess on the night of her disappearance, the tracker was on Katrina's car, and they went back and they investigated the car and they found out where the tracker was, I guess, placed. And there were still wires going to where the tracker was at before it got removed. And so the tracker, they're looking at the data of this tracker, and it stops where her car was found. And then it goes back to the Smith household.
Bro.
Right? You're like, how fucking
You
dumb
turn
can you
off
be?
the tracker after
So
you
I have the very next line of notes I said, I have here. So this idiot forgot to take off or turn off the tracking device
Yeah.
from her vehicle.
Although I guess if you never thought you'd be a suspect, what would you have to worry about?
True. Yeah. I mean, I would still. If I ever killed you and I was tracking you, I'm turning off the tracker device as soon as you're dead.
Hey, you know what? We've both been collecting notes for a couple of years now.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So, watch it, buddy.
So yeah, this idiot, he decided to leave the tracking device on, and now they have his exact route for how he got home
Yeah.
after whatever he did to
Disposing
her.
her car, yeah, all
right.
that.
So the funny thing is, and I didn't really put it in my notes here, but there was a point where they had video evidence from a neighbor of Todd Smith, and there's a footage of somebody walking like through a field near their house, but they can't really tell who it is or how big the person is. Well, that footage at that exact time lines up exactly with the tracker information. So they're like, okay, that's our guy, and that's probably Todd. Fucking idiot. So,
I'm trying to think from like a defense attorney's point of view. Like, do you have proof yet? I mean,
see, and so that is where,
like, who has access to this same computer that he does?
right? And what is the question?
Don't get it twisted. This guy did
This
it.
motherfucker.
But,
Yeah.
but from a
The
defense,
question is,
they're
though,
always looking for those loopholes.
How do you prove that someone's even been murdered?
Exactly. No body,
Without
right?
a
Kind
body.
of thing. But I also, too, this was on Forensic Files, where they were like, they can't prove that this person died, but there was so much blood.
Overwhelming evidence.
There's
Yeah,
so much
yeah.
blood that nobody could have survived
That lot.
that.
much
So they
loss of
have
blood.
to be
Right.
dead.
But there's.
But that's why I'm like,
just
how
bloody
much paper towels?
Yeah. And
But how many?
well, it was
I
like
mean-
3 tons of it.
Yeah,
So,
whatever.
so that is where prosecutors are now. Not. I shouldn't say prosecutors. Investigators. The sheriff's department. They're like, okay, we're pretty sure we got our guy. The only issue is that we don't have proof that anything even happened to her, other than the fact that he was there and then he walked home after she
Yeah.
disappeared. And that's when I want to say it was a few months later, a local fisherman noticed something caught on a log
It's always
near
a
the river's edge.
fisherman or a hunter. Oh my god.
Yeah, and what do you say is going to be the name of your podcast?
If I ever have my own podcast, it'll be It's Never a Fucking Mannequin.
Right,
Because it's not
exactly.
ever once.
Yep. And the thing that was caught on the log, sadly, was not a fucking mannequin. It was Katrina Smith. So they, with the new discovery that
God damn it.
she was unfortunately murdered, they were now able to formally charge Todd Smith with the murder of Katrina Smith. And
So just because they found a body?
so they found the body. After the autopsy, it was homicide, blunt force trauma. And now you're thinking, okay, well, what about like maybe Guy Gabriel? Could anybody else?
Well, just wondering how they know who did it. You can still show that she got her. I mean, they could have
Yeah.
been like, yeah, she was mugged on her way back from the interview. I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well,
what
our
what
friend-
links it?
Our friend Todd Smith here. Not the brightest of the bunch, right?
Yeah. Thank
Let's
God.
keep the
Thank God
tracking-
criminals
yes,
are
exactly.
stupid.
Let's keep the tracking GPS
Yeah.
on. No. So what does Todd do? He asked a buddy of his if he could go to the house and get rid of an aluminum bat that he had in the garage.
Dude.
So his friend went to the house and tried to get rid of it, but couldn't find it.
What does that even mean? What do you mean get rid of it? Like melt it down?
Who just take it away, I guess. I mean, if a friend has it,
Is it because he was at work and he's like, I can't get to it in time. I need you to.
I
Or
think
like,
it's because he's in jail at this point.
oh, so he's being detained.
So yeah, so they're formally
Okay.
charging him.
This
you
was
know?
after he had
Yes.
been. Okay.
Yeah, so he's trying to tell his buddy, hey,
Why would you
Go to-
wait so
go to my
long to get
garage.
rid of it?
I know,
Also, why
right?
did you keep it and bring it back home?
yeah, well, fucking Todd
Yeah,
Smith
you're
here.
right. Not smart. not
Whitest
smart.
guy
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
world.
Yeah.
And his dumbass, tries to ask his buddy.
So stupid. I am not trying to tell anybody how to commit a murder, but don't do this stupid
Yes,
shit.
there's.
Like,
I give a lot of notes. I've given notes in the past on things not to do after you've murdered somebody.
Yeah.
This is one of them.
Oh my gosh.
So sadly, I guess fortunately, his
Yeah,
friend
right.
wasn't able to find the aluminum bat, but that's because it was already in detective's hands.
Oh,
And sure enough,
good
it
job,
had.
y'all.
Yeah, sure enough, it had her. I think once they found out it was blunt force trauma that she died, they probably went back to the house.
Once again, why did we keep it?
Todd.
I wonder if he almost thought it would be weird if something disappeared from the house, so he kept it. And
Yeah.
I wonder if he cleaned it and he just didn't get rid of all
We
of
didn't clean
it.
it enough, yeah, because
Right.
Katrina Smith's blood was on the bat.
Just
bat,
seems weird that you
unfortunately.
keep the murder weapon.
Yep. Well, He did, and they found it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until 2017 that he was finally convicted.
5 years later.
Yep. So nearly 5 years later, he was convicted and sentenced to 59 years in prison.
Well, I was going to say sometimes the trial part of it takes so long. There's appeals and evidence.
Yeah, and he's still appealing, you know,
Lord.
even
Oh,
after
yeah, of
being
course.
sentenced.
Yeah, piece of shit.
Yeah. Fucking,
So is that it?
that's it.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That was good. I was actually like, it's kind of nice to not know what's going to happen next time. We might have to do this.
we might have to.
Yeah.
I mean, you were still right, though.
Good
the fucking
luck.
husband did it. It's always,
Yeah.
the husband always
Right.
did it.
I mean, you can say that at the beginning of every episode, and like 8 out of 10 times you're right.
Yeah. And you would have been right this time.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
cool. Okay.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope everybody listening enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
I think
We'll be posting on True Crime Banter. You can find us on Instagram.
that's right.
We'll be posting pictures of the husband, I'm sure, and her. Probably evidence and stuff they found. Pretty much whatever I can find, I'll put on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of mentioned this earlier, but there was a comment on one of the videos I was using to research this case, and she said, "Mama always said, don't trust the man that looks like a squirrel." Fucking,
Wow.
you'll see in the pictures.
Wow, her
good
mom
old
was
Todd
spot
Smith.
on.
That's right.
Wow.
I know, right?
That's a wise mom.
Well, Mama always said.
Mama always said.
Gosh. Okay, well, we're going to end it right here.
Yeah. I think it's
If
a
you
good place to
guys
stop.
want to, you can subscribe to us on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, we will be uploading this in video format. Hello, everybody out there. If you enjoyed it, I guess like it.
Yeah.
On Spotify, I don't know if I've shared it yet, and I don't know the best way to get it out there. But like again, I've said it in the last episode, you can rate podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
do that if you can. It's not too hard to find, but just go to our page on Spotify and hit rate.
Yeah.
And 1 to 5 stars, whatever you feel like.
But
It's
yeah,
less than
5's
4
the only
stars
one
and-
acceptable.
yeah.
So I think they only let you do 5 on our page at least. So
I
you might
think
as well.
so.
Yeah. Also on you guys too, like on the Instagram and stuff. Like this case that we just did tonight. I mean, I really liked it. You kind of picked it out. This one, I didn't know anything about it, but there are so many that are like that I'm like, when I hear, I'm like, I didn't know about that. That's crazy. So if there's anything that you guys know,
Yes, please.
yeah,
Let us
and
know.
it's obviously it's a lot easier to message on Instagram.
Yeah, much easier.
Yeah. So yeah, just follow us on Instagram, True Crime Banter, and then just send me a message.
Exactly.
It'd be really nice to get something that's not like OnlyFans people or hey, here's Bitcoin I'm trying to sell or something. It'd be really freaking great if like there was actually true crime messages being popped around.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. So I would welcome that.
Exactly. All right. Well, for the last time, I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's
My
been
name
real.
is Riley,
And I'm Christian.
and we will talk to you in the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Take care.
Bye.